The narrative around the Louisville Cardinals entering 2023 is that of a sleeper team in the ACC this season. They have a new yet familiar name coming in at head coach, a top 10 portal class, and a very favorable schedule. It's easy to see why a lot of people are picking this team to be their ACC sleeper. However, with so much roster overhaul and a brand new head coach, is this Louisville team going to need some time to adjust to the new system? Or with the familiar name at head coach, is he going to embrace his alma mater and lead this team to an ACC title game? What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate, and welcome to my channel. I'm predicting all 133 FBS level college football teams this summer, which means I am doing your favorite teams. So hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you know when that video gets uploaded. As of recording this video, we may have surpassed the number by now, but as of recording, we are so close to 1,000 subscribers. If we've surpassed it, thank you guys so much for the support on the channel as of late. You have no idea what that means to me. It is awesome. But if you can't hit the subscribe button, totally understand. You already support my channel by watching the video. You can like, comment, share, and anything else to help interact and support the channel. Jeff Brohm, a Louisville, Kentucky boy, played at Louisville, just won a Big Ten West title at Purdue, and now comes over to be the head coach of his alma mater and hometown childhood team. Hey, how do we do preview predictions around here? We look at the roster overview, take a look at who the team lost, who's coming back, and who's coming in through the transfer portal and recruiting class, as well as taking a look at the 2023 schedule for the Cardinals and giving it a game-by-game preview and prediction. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Louisville Cardinals entering 2023. Before we do that, quick water break. Make sure you stay hydrated out there. It's important. Let's talk about the most important position on the field. You're losing a great dual threat option in Malik Cunningham, 1,568 yards, 8 touchdowns, 5 interceptions last season. Also had 565 yards and 12 rushing touchdowns, which is more than double, or actually exactly double anyone else on the team rushing-wise last year. His passing numbers are not reflective of his talent, but he was a great dual threat quarterback for this team. There was a little bit of a changing of the guard, though, as Brock Doman did have 998 yards on almost 55% completion percentage last year, but 4 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. Not quite doing it for this team either. Enter former Purdue transfer, very related, or I shouldn't say related, very familiar with the Jeff Brohm system, coming over from a year with the Cal Golden Bears. It's Jack Plummer, pretty solid option at the quarterback position. I believe he will be your starter here in 2023 for the Louisville Cardinals. He's already familiar with the Jeff Brohm system and coming over from a pretty solid season in a Cal Golden Bears uniform. In the running back room, you do lose some solid pieces. Your 3rd and 5th leading rushers, respectively, in Tyon Evans and Travion Cooley. However, your returning rusher does come back in Jawar Jordan, 815 yards and 4 touchdowns. Then Maurice Turner was your 4th leading rusher. He'll be coming back. And you get a boost coming out of the transfer portal. Again, using that transfer portal, a top 10 portal class. According to 24/7 Sports, I do believe, if not very close, Isaac Garendo is going to be boosting this running back room coming over by way of Wisconsin. And you know how talented those running backs over there have been over the past years. Isaac Garendo was another one coming over to help boost the running back room of this Louisville team. Wide receiver-wise, a lot of talent leaves this one. Your leading receiver, Tyler Hudson from last year, led the team in receptions and yards by a mile. 69 catches, 1,034 yards. Great player that's going to be leaving this program, as well as Braden Smith, Jalen Carter, and D. Wiggins, all very talented options. You do return your 2nd leading receiver among wide receivers, your 3rd overall, in Amari Bruce Higgins, as well as a lot of transfers coming in. Jamari Thrash is a 4-star transfer coming over by way of Georgia State. Jaden Thompson, a 3-star transfer coming over from Cincinnati. And Kevin Coleman, another 3-star transfer, but a former 4-star out of high school coming over by way of Jackson State. Very highly rated 4-star. And he'll be playing good minutes for this Louisville offense. Marshawn Ford was your 2nd leading receiver last year at the tight end position, 434 yards. He's gone, as well as Francis Sherman. But you do get a freshman in Jamari Johnson among some transfers that are going to be a nice boost to this tight end room. Offensive line-wise, Trevor Reed, Caleb Chandler, and Adonis Boone are gone. However, you're going to return Brian Hudson and Renato Brown, as well as getting some transfers in John Paul Flores and Eric Miller coming over to be a boost to this offensive line. Quarterback-wise, Jeff Brohm has this guy in Jack Plummer. There's a lot of good talent offensively. Defensively, when we shift our attention to that, though, well, there are a lot of key contributors that are going to be leaving this defense. One of them was your 2nd leading, second on the team, there you go, in sacks last year on the defensive line, and Yaya Diaby, 37 tackles, 9 sacks last season. However, there is a lot of talent still returning on this defensive line. Desmond Tell, Ashton Jalot, and Raymond Puryear are all going to be coming back to this defensive line. All of them very, very solid options. Jalot had 7 sacks last year, which I believe was third on the team last season. So still some good pieces, as well as Stephen Herron, who's transferring in to be a nice boost to this defensive line. When you go ahead and take a look at who else in this defensive side in the linebacking unit, well, there's a lot of nice talent leaving here as well. Your top 2 leading tacklers, Monty Montgomery, 70 tackles, 6 sacks last season, as well as 2 interceptions. And your leading tackler, Mohamed Sanogo, 89 tackles, 4.5 sacks for him last season. Both those guys, amazing players. And your top 2 leading tacklers, but your fourth leading tackler, and your leading sackman last year, Yasir Abdullah, also leaves, as well as Dorian Jones. A lot of good talent gone out of the linebacking unit. However, TJ Quinn, Jackson Hamilton, Jalen Alderman do come back. We'll highlight that linebacker room for the Cardinals this year. Defensive back-wise, well, you lose some more great talent here as well. Keitrell Clark, 51 tackles. That's 6th on the team. Did have a sack. 4 pass defended, 1 interception, which he returned for a touchdown last year. And then Kenderick Duncan, going to be gone as well. Pretty solid piece in the defensive back room leaving. But you do get some nice returning talent. Jarvis Brownlee led the team with 12 pass defended last year. Josh Minkins, MJ Griffin, and Benjamin Perry, among some other names, are going to be coming back to this team, as well as a buttload of transfers. Devin Neal, Cameron Kelly, Storm Duck, Marcus Washington are all going to be key contributors to this team in the defensive back position, to a secondary that probably is going to be pretty good here with all that talent coming in 2023. Your head coach, of course, is Jeff Brohm. Offensive coordinator is Brian Brohm, and your defensive coordinator is Ron English. As we take a look at the Cardinals' schedule for 2023, hey, any game you see at home is going to be underlined, and any game on the road will be in italics of the slanted text. Neutral site games are listed accordingly. Any game in green is a game I think the Cardinals will win easily. Any game in yellow is, hey, that's a close or competitive back-and-forth game, or maybe a team that Louisville could get upset by, but still got the Cardinals being able to win, and red is a loss. You got a couple neutral site games in your first few weeks here. One of them comes against the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Now, do not count out this team this year. Yes, you lose Jeff Sims at quarterback, among a lot of other talent as well. However, Brent Key coming in, he's got some good talent there. I think Georgia Tech is going to be a little bit of a surprise to some in the ACC this season. However, I do believe Louisville is going to end up being that better team. Jack Plummer, all that talent in the secondary will be a little bit too much for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets in Atlanta. And Louisville will walk their way, not necessarily walk their way, but will be able to pick up an opening week win. And then I also believe they're going to end up being the Murray State Racers, an FCS program, not up to the level of Louisville. And then Indiana is here as well in Indianapolis, technically a neutral site game, but it's going to feel like a home game here for Indiana, with it being in Indianapolis, not that far from Bloomington. I think this could be a close competitive game. I do have Louisville being able to win by 14 or more points, meaning it is highlighted in green, or I guess highlighted in green, meaning they're going to win by 14 or more points. I just think that Indiana not going to be that great of a football team this year, although I do recognize they could surprise some people this season. But when you take a look at the Indiana Hoosiers here, I do not believe they're going to have the defense to be able to keep up with the Louisville, and I especially think that secondary with the Cardinals, with all that talent coming in, will be able to slow down whatever Indiana has, especially if they're going to be able to break into that second level against this Cardinals defense. So a win there in a neutral site coming for Louisville. And then I think they're going to get another win against Boston College as well. Boston College could end up being a competitive team there, but Jeff Hafley is a coach on the hot seat. You lose Phil Jurkovic at quarterback, among a lot of other talent there as well. It could be a struggle in ACC play for the Eagles this season. And I got Louisville being able to win that game there. All right, on the road against NC State, not necessarily your first test, but going on the road, it's going to be your first true road game of the year, and I do believe that Louisville is going to end up dropping this one. Brennan Armstrong is the quarterback there with the NC State Wolfpack. I think he's going to be a very, very good option for them. He's got a lot of talent around him, albeit there is some overhaul in the wide receiver room, some talent leaving that definitely could have helped him out. But that defense, we know what NC State defense is going to look like, no matter who is there or not, whatever talent they have leaving. That's always a very aggressive, very solid defense under Dave Doran, and I think they're going to end up getting the better of this Louisville Cardinal offense. Same thing with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I think they got a lot of firepower offensively, especially with Sam Hartman coming in, that big play threat at quarterback. In the defense, I expect to take some steps in the right direction this season as well. Going on the road in South Bend, never an easy place to play. I believe Louisville is going to go in there and take their second straight loss, and I believe Louisville just ends up going on a cold streak here, possibly an upset loss to some. I definitely think they're the more talented team than Pitt. Pitt's losing a lot of key contributors on the defensive front. However, Phil Jurkovec comes in at quarterback. Very, very solid option with Keaton Slovis out. I'll let you guys debate who is better between the two of them there. But Pitt's got a lot of solid weapons offensively that I think are going to help them win this game and going on the road. That's a tough environment to play in as well. So you're losing 3 straight games. This is your perfect opportunity for the bye week right here. And it's also before a pretty tough game against the Duke Blue Devils. Now, Duke is a team here that I think is going to be very good this year. They return a lot offensively, especially their quarterback in Riley Leonard. That defensive front returns almost everyone as well. Defensive back 7 depth, okay, that's going to get some questions there, and I think they're going to get tested against this Louisville offense. I think Jack Plummer's got a lot of great wide receiver weapons to be able to throw the football. I think the running back room is pretty solid. I think the running back room is pretty solid as well. I think Louisville is going to be able to pick up a win here, end their 3-game losing streak, and get back on the right path, be able to win that one there. And then you got 2 very winnable games coming up here in which I think you dominate in both. Virginia's projected to be one of the worst teams in Power 5 this season. I do not think it's going to be a very good season for the Cavaliers. However, it's going to be a very emotional season for them, given what happened at the end of their campaign last year. It's going to be a very emotional season, but there's a lot of talent leaving. Of course, Brennan Armstrong is going over to NC State, another team on Louisville's schedule. I just don't think it's going to be there for Tony Elliott's team this year. And Brent Pryor, I think, needs a little more time with the Virginia Tech Hokies. I think it's going to be another rough year for them. If this game were in Blacksburg, I may be considering picking what I would consider an upset here, as I think Louisville definitely is the more talented team. But with the game being at home, I think Louisville takes control, going to be able to win that one. Look at that. They are well on their way to being a nice contender in the ACC championship game, although with a couple conference losses, you may need some stuff to happen. I think they're going to take their 3rd conference loss right here against the Miami Hurricanes. Miami's a team that's got a new offensive coordinator. Tyler Van Dyke is coming back at quarterback, and I know he had a down year last year, but to people that have paid attention to what Tyler Van Dyke has been throughout his career at Miami, he's got a really high ceiling. He can play a lot better than what he played last year, and I think with the new offensive coordinator, he's going to live up to standard. You got a lot of nice pieces coming into that defense as well. I think they're going to be able to slow down what Louisville is going to throw at them, be able to win that game. And Miami gives Louisville their 3rd conference loss. And then Kentucky is going to be a very solid team this year as well. The Kentucky in-state rivalry, this is the series that has been dominated by Kentucky. I do think this is going to be a very close, competitive game. I think Louisville is a very, very good team this year, but Kentucky, yes, they have some offensive line problems, but this is probably the most talented wide receiver group Kentucky has had pretty much ever, with Devin Leary at quarterback. If he can stay healthy, there's a lot of talent on defense. I think Kentucky is going to be able to go on the road and win this one here, which leads Louisville to a 7-5 record. Maybe underwhelming considering what I've seen from other predictions regarding this Louisville Cardinals team. However, maybe next season is the year where things start to explode. I definitely could see it being this season. The schedule is very manageable. I think NC State, Pitt, Miami, depending on the circumstances, even Kentucky can be a winnable game for them. I think this team has got a very high ceiling, but 7-5 is what I'm predicting. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, remember to play hard, but tailgate harder. See you guys in the next video. Goodbye.